Hi, I'm Tom Lu. Today, I'm in Oxford University. Founded in 11th century, Oxford is the second oldest university in the world. Ranked among the most prestigious universities, Oxford is the cradle for prominent scholars, thinkers, and the world's leading statesmen. In the next few moments, we're going to take a look at Oxford University. The University Church of St. Mary the Virgin is an Oxford church situated on the north side of the High Street. It's the center from which the University of Oxford grew, and its parish consists almost exclusively of university and college buildings. St. Mary the Virgin holds a special place in the history of Oxford University. It was here the first library of the university was established, and the legend has it that the first gatherings of masters and students were held here as early as the 12th century. The most notable feature of St. Mary the Virgin is its spire, which contains the elements of the original 13th century construction. The spire is claimed to be one of the most beautiful spires in England. Radcliffe Square is a square in central Oxford. It's surrounded by historic college buildings. The square is cobbled, laid to grass, surrounded by railings in the center. The square is named after John Radcliffe, a student of the university who became doctor to the King William III in late 17th century. The centerpiece of the square is the circular and imposing Radcliffe Camera, a science library paid for by John Radcliffe's legacy. The word camera here is from Latin, meaning room. It was designed by the renowned English architect James Gibbs in neoclassical style and built in 1737 to house the library. This magnificent, shapely and circular domed building is perhaps the finest work of him. James Gibbs has studied in Rome to better understand the principles of ancient classical and Renaissance architecture. Circular with rustication and columns, the building is the earliest example in England of a circular library. The Radcliffe Camera's circularity, its position in the heart of Oxford, and its separation from other buildings make it the focal point of the University of Oxford, an iconic Oxford landmark, and as such, it is almost always included in visual representations of the university. Oxford is home to the Ashmolean Museum. Founded in 1683 by the English antiquary and politician Elias Ashmole, the Ashmolean Museum is the oldest museum in the UK and the world's second university museum. The museum was built in neoclassical style. It wasn't open to the public until 1845. It houses some of the finest artworks and the huge collections of archaeological specimens in the world. Its world-famous collections range from Egyptian mummies to contemporary art, span the civilizations of East and West, charting the aspirations of humankind from the Neolithic era to the present day, telling human stories across cultures and times, and making it one of Britain's most important museums of art and archaeology. You could spend days at the Ashmolean Museum exploring the vast collections. Thomas Howard, the second Earl of Arundel, built a famously large collection of art during the reign of James I and Charles I. Many of these ancient sculptures and inscriptions, known as the Arundel marbles, are exhibited in this museum and are arranged to tell the story of their collection and display. The ancient Roman ideals of gravitas, virtue, honor, and nobility greatly appealed to the Earl of Arundel, so he surrounded himself with objects from ancient Greece and Rome, which he believed reflected these values. The ancient Greek and Roman Mediterranean was a world full of statues. They were large, high-quality figures of bronze and marble that honored gods, heroes, rulers, and military leaders, as well as ordinary men and women. The cast gallery in the Ashmolean Museum contains a large and striking cross-section of this ancient world of moments. Casts are exact plaster replicas and reproduce the precise scale, effect, and style of three-dimensional objects and figures. The Ashmolean collection of casts was begun in 1884, although many of these casts were made much earlier. They were formed for teaching classical archaeology in the university. In ancient cities of the Roman Empire, statues were the highest form of public honor, awarded to exceptional individuals for good deeds in the community. The statues combined a portrait head, a costumed body, and inscribed base, and displayed not only a recognizable physical likeness, but also cherished the public qualities, costumes, attributes, and gestures defined the leading public roles. For example, as philosophers, general, or king. Honorific statues were set up in sanctuaries in public spaces, such as agora, forum, or theater. Some were memorials, but others were erected using the individual's lifetime to mark success in political or social life. Standing on the south side of Beaumont Street, at the corner with Madeline Street, opposite the Ashmolean Museum, is the Randolph Hotel. The Randolph Hotel was constructed between 1864 and 1866. Designed by the British Gothic Revival architect William Wilkinson in Victorian Gothic style, also known as Gothic Revival style. When it was built in 1864, the Randolph caused controversy. The city council thought it was too tall and considered this neo-Gothic architecture too garish for a sober university town. Now the Randolph is an Oxford landmark, just as famous as the Ashmolean Museum that it faces. If you come to Oxford, you must take a walk through the St. Helens Passage and the Bath Place, a labyrinth of narrow winding alleyways, Oxford's best-kept secret. St. Helens Passage is a narrow alleyway that runs between a multitude of buildings and old city wall. It leads to the historic pub, the Turf Tavern, and the Bath Place Hotel. Established in 12th century, the Turf Tavern is the oldest pub in Oxford. The authentic and traditional English pub was built outside of the city wall, as gambling and betting were not permitted in the city. Due to the illegal activities of many of its original patrons, the Turf sprang up in an area just outside the city wall in order to escape the jurisdiction of the governing bodies of the local colleges. Its foundations and use as a malt house can be dated back to 1381. The pub is frequented primarily by university students and fondly dubbed an education in intoxication. Less than 1 minute walk from the Turf Tavern, you will arrive at the Bath Place Hotel, which consists of 17th century cottages assembled around a beautiful flagstone and a pastel-colored courtyard, decorated with lovely flower boxes. For 9 centuries of its continuous existence, the University of Oxford has been the beacon of higher learning in the world, by virtue of its antiquity, curriculum, doctrine, privileges, and the betterment of the humanity. Home to distinguished scientists and artists alike, an educator of 28 Nobel Prize winners, and houses the world's best research facilities, museums, and libraries. Medicine, chemistry, philosophy, politics, and economics are the most popular subjects at Oxford. The university curates the most brilliant and curious minds, and is often cited as the best university on planet.